You understand that the cycle of thinking and feeling that we create on a daily basis, either from our own autosuggestions or from our responses to the external world, as we begin to process information from the life that's so familiar to us, the known people and the places that we can predict and the things that we can do, if we wake up in the morning and we allow the environment, our external reality, to control our very thoughts and feelings, then as we think and feel equal to the environment, we're creating more of the same. And it only takes a few days of going unconscious in that way, and like an automatic program, we return back to the old self. So to change then is to think greater than your environment, to think greater than the conditions in your life. And that process means that you literally can change your brain and your body to look like the experience has happened ahead of the actual experience. And when your brain and body are changed because you wake up in the morning and you remember a future that exists as a potential in the quantum field, and you radiate a new electromagnetic signature that matches this signature, well, now you're on a whole new timeline. And you're literally enacting the quantum reality. And it doesn't have to be complicated. It could be as simple as deciding to no longer be afraid, to surrender that and just give it up and go on in spite of it. And as you do that, then you make a different choice, and that different choice literally leads you to a potential that's always existed just by you making a different choice in your future. So then if you keep thinking the same thoughts, and you keep performing the same actions, and you keep romancing the same emotions, and expecting something different to happen in your life, you are not living by the quantum law. You're living by the old paradigm of religion that was created by a bunch of insecure men that were trying to control people. That's not the quantum model. So when you begin to just decide to think differently, to experiment, by keeping your energy up the entire day and not letting those limited emotions make their way back into the subconscious that begins to drive you, you're Gandalf on the bridge saying, you may not pass today. You are in control, and it's that process of weeding out our limitations and beginning to break down those habituations that we really think that is part of who we are. When we begin to make those changes within us, and energy begins to break out of our seams because we're no longer contracted in that pattern, that simple change is the available energy that is now in your field, and you use that energy to literally construct a new destiny, because particles are alive and they respond to your observation. So if you're waking up in the morning then, and you're predicting what your day is going to be like, and you begin to think about all the people you're going to see and all the things you're going to do and all the things that you already know in the predictable life that you live, you're living this familiar future. You're living equal to your environment, and your past self is creating your present self, and it's creating your future self. Would you also understand that every time you go back and you revisit an emotion, you're back into your past? Emotions are a memory of the past, yes? And then if you romance that and you think and feel in that realm, and that cycle of thinking and feeling creates an electromagnetic field that you're broadcasting, now you're literally creating this future. And then if you're in this future, then here you go again, romancing this past. And what do we keep doing? We're on a very specific line of time that is projecting you to your genetic destiny. And then you could say, I am this way because of this experience that's happened to me back here. And I memorized the emotion because I didn't know that every time I thought about that experience, I was producing the same chemistry in my brain and my body as if the experience was happening. And my body, as the unconscious mind, didn't know the difference between the actual event or the emotion that I was fabricating, because emotions are the language of the body. Thoughts are the language of the brain. So then, If you believe that then you would say, when a person says, I am this way because of this experience that's happened to me 20 years ago, what they're really saying is, I've memorized this emotion and I don't know how to change. And the only way that I can explain how I am is I could only relate it back to this past event. So it goes something like a thought that's connected to a memory that produces an emotion. And then the thought of the memory becomes the emotion, and then we just memorize the emotion. And we live that way. And it's that fracturing of the personality that begins to cause us to disseminate our power in our life. To begin to integrate self again by making choices to be differently. To break the habit of the old self and literally begin to contemplate and speculate possibilities for you. As you're beginning to think about a new possibility in your life, the moment you begin to think about it, you're forcing your brain to fire in new sequences and new patterns and new combinations. And that very process of contemplation, of speculation, of invention, is the building process of the circuitry in your brain, which becomes the platform of who you're going to become. You're sending a signal out in that process of possibility. And as you begin to think about possibility, you're literally drawing your conscious awareness to one of these potentials that only exist in the now moment. They can't exist in the future because as you begin to think about all the things you're going to do in your day, your body's already in the future. But it's in the future, familiar future that you already know. And that known future creates more of the same. So then, by the same means then, a person who's embracing a past event, over time they forget the event and they just live by that emotion, and then they define themselves as guilty or insecure or afraid or having anxiety or whatever it is for the person.
This video only scratches the surface of Dr. Joe's teachings. If you truly want to learn more, check out his audiobooks and meditations for free by signing up for Audible's 1-month free trial. Use the link in the description or comments below. You will not be charged during the trial, and you can cancel anytime you want. Thank you.